What Archangel Michael revealed on August 24th will shock you. Someone close is under hidden spiritual attack. Don't make the mistake of ignoring this. Watch this video completely from start to end. The Spirit has drawn a line through time, and it runs straight through the hourglass of August 24th. This is not an ordinary date. This is a watchpoint, a hinge moment. In the courts of heaven, this day stands as a spiritual timestamp for those marked by a divine assignment. Something is being unveiled. Something is being interrupted. And something is being restored. The message that comes on this day is not a broadcast. It is a sealed letter. A scroll handed down under angelic watch, addressed not to the masses, but to the set apart, the spiritually sensitive, the ones who know something is stirring even if they cannot yet explain it. Archangel Michael, the commander of heavenly hosts, is standing now at the spiritual threshold with his sword unsheathed. He speaks not in riddles, but with commanding clarity. Be still. Be aware. Be obedient. He does not raise alarm for drama's sake. He raises warning for preservation. This revelation is not for everyone. It is for you. For the one who has felt a strange tension surrounding someone close. For the one who cannot shake the weight that settled over a relationship, a friendship, a connection. You've noticed the odd glitches, restlessness in sleep, strange silences in texts, missed calls that feel out of rhythm, avoidance masters busyness. Heaven speaks in patterns. It rarely repeats without purpose. Perhaps you've seen it. 3 interruptions, 2 warnings, 1 undeniable confirmation. These patterns are not coincidence. They are breadcrumbs leading to the unveiling. This is a selective summons. If something within you leapt or stirred when you read the title, you are among those heaven is briefing. You are not randomly watching. You are being positioned to watch, listen, and act. But not as the world does. The first command is silence, not a silencing of your voice, but of reaction. Do not respond emotionally. No impulsive texts. No accusatory venting. Observe. Watch. Record. The second command is stillness. You are being asked to step back, not out of cowardice, but to see clearly what was hidden in plain sight. The enemy uses chaos to obscure, but stillness will give you spiritual X-ray vision. The third command is obedience, not to feelings, but to the nudges birthed in prayer. Obey what heaven breathes, not what pressure demands. In the coming hours, expect a holy interruption. A memory may return. A name may resurface. A dream may repeat. These are not accidents. They are encoded alerts from the Spirit. Someone close to you is under hidden spiritual attack, subtle, yet corrosive. The attack is designed to distort their clarity, shake their identity, and break their favor. But the unveiling begins with you. Delay empowers the adversary. Obedience disarms him. Heaven is not raising panic, it is releasing strategy. You are not just being informed. You are being commissioned. Ask yourself now, who came to mind first? Hold their name not in fear, but in light. The unraveling begins, not to shame, but to rescue. August 24th is a turning point. A date marked not to terrorize you, but to timestamp your awakening. It is not just about what is being exposed, but who is about to be protected. Type I receive this briefing in the comments if this message pierced your spirit. Blessing code 7777 is now covering your circle. There is a trembling in the air. Do you feel it? A sacred interruption is descending. Cloak not in thunder, but in whispers. And the Most High has sent forth Michael, the Archangel of war and watchfulness, to deliver a charge so potent, so exact, that even time must bow before it. This is not just a message. This is a spiritual briefing straight from the throne room, sealed with fire and urgency, carved into eternity with the ink of divine strategy. By sunrise following August 24th, a sign will come. It will not arrive with fanfare, but with precision. And when it comes, it will confirm what your spirit has been trying to interpret. Something you couldn't name, but couldn't shake. An uneasiness. A pause in your joy. A fog over someone dear to you. A knowing that refuses to leave, no matter how much you try to explain it away. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy. In the next 48 hours, confusion may attempt to surround you. The enemy will stir situations to cloud what God is clarifying. Your instruction: do not react, observe. You are being asked to enter a sacred hush, to reduce the volume of your surroundings so that the frequency of heaven can find you. Speak less. Pray more. Do not share this message openly until its work is complete within you. There is power in the quiet. There is warfare in your stillness. Heaven is speaking in repeated phrases. You may hear the same sentence from different mouths. The same word in your dreams. The same tone in your conversations. Pay attention. Every repetition is a holy breadcrumb leading you out of deception and into discernment. Michael whispers, the trap is hidden in familiarity. Look closely at what seems normal, but began feeling wrong. This is not a general alert. It is a selective message. It is not for the curious. It is for the chosen. If you've been waking between 3:00 and 4:00 a.m., it is not insomnia. It is invitation. You are being summoned to watch with heaven while most are sleeping. It is during these early hours that heaven moves undetected, and the veil between spirit and flesh is thinnest. Watch. Don't scroll. Don't distract. Just sit and listen. In the coming moments, you may notice divine interruptions, pauses that drop mid-sentence, messages that fail to send, doors that won't close properly, lights that flicker with no natural cause. These are not malfunctions. These are alerts, coded and dispatched to grab your spirit's attention. The enemy moves in suggestion, but God moves in signals. Watch for the signals. You are not being haunted, you are being hailed. This is a calling, not a curse. The enemy has one clear objective: to fracture trust between you and someone dear. To plant doubt where there was once security. To create gaps where there was once closeness. Through half-truths, engineered misunderstandings, strange delays, and oddly timed disruptions, he aims to wedge suspicion where God planted connection. But you must not bite the bait. You must not respond in emotion. Let heaven respond through your restraint. A divine interruption is imminent. You may be invited to an event only to have it cancel. You may be about to message someone when the platform glitches. You may feel a strong urge to call someone only to hear a quiet check in your spirit. Honor it. Every divine pause is protective. Every no is a shield. Those who are truly chosen understand this. Revelation follows restraint. Your power is not in your reaction. It is in your stillness. What you do not say becomes your loudest statement. What you choose not to answer becomes your act of spiritual warfare. If your heart is racing as you listen to this, do not be afraid. Breathe deeply. That is not fear. It is your discernment awakening. Fear is a fog. Discernment is a lamp. Michael's command still stands. Stand at the gate. Do not chase shadows. Let the shadows come to your light. You are not a chaser. You are a light bearer. The darkness cannot follow where you are going. The title was not clickbait. It was your summons. The outline you're hearing is not a script. It's a strategy. Your silence is not weakness. It's a key. So now, begin. Dedicate this moment of listening as an act of obedience. Say quietly under your breath, even now, I receive only what is mine from heaven. This is how you shield the loved one being targeted. This is how you protect your future peace. This is how you let Michael fight what your words cannot. You were not led here by chance. You were summoned here by the Spirit. Watch what happens in the next 72 hours. Type I am under heaven's instruction in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 1444 is now encamping around your household. There is something you've been sensing, but not fully able to explain. A shift so subtle it slips past logic, yet your spirit won't stop pointing at it. You're not imagining this. You're not overreacting. You're discerning something that's been cloaked in spiritual fog, a hidden emotional sabotage, a disruption seated not just in behavior, but in intention. And now the Spirit is calling you to observe without panic, to see beyond the surface, and to protect the one unknowingly slipping into darkness. It began softly, like a whisper behind the scenes. A strange distance, a shift in someone close to you. You may have noticed how conversations feel different, polished on the outside but cold underneath. You find yourself over-explaining, over-apologizing, trying to smooth something invisible. And no matter how sincere you are, nothing seems to land cleanly. The words are heard, but not received. The connection is present, but not peaceful. There's gossip in low places, not always loud, not always malicious, but wrapped in false concern. A mutual friend suddenly knows too much, yet says too little. Someone offers help that feels too calculated. Or a person who once respected boundaries now lingers, probing, watching. The watchers are in position, but they do not know who they're dealing with, because you are under heavenly surveillance, and the Lord is now bringing what was whispered in corners into the light of your awareness. Pay attention to your emotions. Your spirit has already been signaling fatigue that appears only around certain people. A small ache behind your eyes when certain names are mentioned. A random chill during peaceful moments. These aren't mood swings. They are discernment tremors. The Holy Spirit is interrupting your routine with signs your mind might not yet be ready to interpret, but your soul already knows. You've likely experienced conversations that loop without conclusion. Moments that spin, confuse, and leave you feeling guilty for asking simple questions. This isn't relational friction. It's a tactic. The enemy thrives in confusion, because confusion disarms clarity. And where there is no clarity, vulnerability increases. Look closely, as someone close to you started withdrawing from prayer, avoiding spiritual conversations, replacing sacred rhythms with shallow distractions. This is not mere distraction. It is spiritual displacement. The adversary is trying to nudge them away from alignment, away from counsel, away from their calling. And in doing so, He is attempting to sabotage the peace surrounding you. The attack is not always direct. It comes cloaked in normalcy, but the normal has become numb. Watch for emotional imbalances that don't align with the past patterns of love, honor, or communication. And remember, hidden betrayal does not always come with a dagger. Sometimes it comes with a smile, a compliment, or a delay. This is not always about romance or envy. This is about spiritual interference, targeting connection to disrupt calling. Ask yourself now, what shifted before all of this began? Did a new friend enter the picture? A new job? A new voice in their ear? A social thread that altered the rhythm of their heart? The enemy often introduces distractions masked as blessings. You are being invited to notice, not accuse. To discern, not panic. A private detail you once shared was twisted and returned to you distorted. That wasn't a mistake. That was a marker. Trace it, quietly. The Lord is showing you the path, not so you can confront, but so you can cover the one under fire with prayer and wisdom. You are not at war with the person. You are standing guard against the influence. Your emotions may feel unhoused, like you're inside your own life, but watching from the doorway. That is the separation created by spiritual tension. But don't lose your footing. Anchor yourself. You do not need proof to pause. You need peace to proceed. Here is your confirmation. Small glitches, strange delays, and emotional dissonance will begin clustering around one name, one place, one thread of influence. Devices may freeze. Plans may misalign. Peace may thin suddenly. That's your signal. Not to accuse, but to intercede. You were not given this insight to punish. You were given it to protect. Don't let suspicion become obsession. Let discernment become intercession. Your restraint is a weapon. Your silence is your strategy. The Holy Spirit is drawing you into observation over confrontation, because heaven has already scheduled the confrontation on your behalf. You just need to show up with stillness, not swords. Type "I am chosen" to watch in the comments if this message is awakening your discernment. Blessing code 5555 is now shielding your atmosphere. If this prophetic message is speaking directly into your situation, if your spirit feels the weight of this divine revelation, you are not alone in this assignment. You are part of a rising remnant who is being equipped and entrusted by heaven. Every seed you sow into this mission helps us reach more hearts, protect more families, and awaken more watchers. The harvest is ripe, the battle is real, and your support becomes a holy weapon, spreading light where the enemy sows confusion. As it is written, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. That is not just a verse. It is a divine transaction God is offering you right now. If you feel led, become a supporter through YouTube membership, super thanks, or sow a gift directly via PayPal. You'll find the link in the description. I hear the Spirit say, as you give, I open a gate. May your offering today return as discernment, protection, and favor over your entire household. Stand with us. Activate your impact. Support the mission. You are not dealing with a mere misunderstanding. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual war zone. The conflict you're sensing, though clothed in silence, though masked by politeness, though threaded into the everyday, is far more than a clash of personalities. It is a framing, an orchestration of unseen forces attempting to alter perception, twist motives, and disorient the chosen. And you, beloved, are not merely affected. You are the target, not because you are weak, but because you are strategically positioned by heaven to interrupt the enemy's momentum. This is not about petty drama. This is not about people. This is about influence. The one under attack, the one close to you, isn't just experiencing hardship. They are being spiritually targeted to remove them from alignment, and in doing so, to disturb your clarity. The enemy fears not your voice, but your discernment. If he can cloud that, he can plant seeds of discord without resistance. This conflict is being spiritually engineered, not to destroy you outright, but to unseat you from your spiritual authority. This is warfare by suggestion. The arrows are not physical, they're intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. Ideas being seeded. Doubts whispered. Impulses inflamed. The enemy has not come to shout in your face, but to whisper just loud enough behind your back that your peace starts to crumble. It's not what's being said, it's how it's being framed. Words laced with implication. Gestures that seem off. Interactions that leave you questioning your own stability. But the Spirit of God says, you are not being punished. You are being trained. This is not retribution. This is preparation. God is not allowing this tension to weaken you. He is using it to sharpen you. You are being taught to separate the signal from the noise, the truth from the trick, the revelation from the reaction. Every moment you choose stillness over sarcasm, clarity over chaos, prayer over pettiness. You disarm the invisible schemes forming around you. Heaven is watching. The courts of the Most High are recording every movement. Divine surveillance is not passive, it is active. Nothing whispered in darkness escapes the light. And though it may seem like your silence is ignored, your restraint is actually recorded as intercession. You are not the victim in this narrative. You are the gatekeeper. The one chosen to stand between the flame and the fragile. The loved one under attack carries a seed, something tied to your future, your healing, your testimony. That's why the pressure feels so personal. Because it is. The enemy is not merely attacking you. He is attacking the soil around you. He knows that what you protect today becomes the foundation for what God will bless tomorrow. That's why there's friction in the connection. That's why words aren't landing. That's why there's discomfort with no visible cause. The spiritual realm is trying to shift what God is rooting. Michael, the Archangel of Justice, is now issuing this command. Guard the gateway of your tongue. Your words are not decorations, they are directions. They open spiritual doors. They signal permission. You cannot afford careless speech in a moment where divine repositioning is taking place. This isn't the time to defend yourself. This is the time to define your spiritual posture. Let others explain. Let others accuse. You stay silent and watch heaven frame the truth on your behalf. The chaos surrounding you is not the fire. It is the smoke. The real fire is identity theft. The enemy seeks to steal names, steal assignments, steal roles, and mislabel what God has clearly spoken. He wants to confuse you until you no longer recognize who's trustworthy. He wants to make you question the love you gave, the prayers you sowed, and the covenant you stood for. But the heavens are not panning. The heavens are poised. Your clarity is a threat. Your discernment is a sword. And your obedience is writing a different ending than the enemy expected. This conflict is not your defeat. It is your demonstration. It will be the moment God marks as the day you pass the test and preserve the seed. Don't react. Don't retreat. Just recalibrate. Refocus. Return to the posture of still warfare. Because the more silent you are, the more thunderously heaven will speak in your defense. Type "I stand in holy silence" in the comments if you hear this. Blessing code 8888 is now releasing clarity and shielding you from deception. There is movement gathering in shadows. Movement not born of truth, but of manipulation. Something has been set in motion behind closed doors. Whispers have been weaponized. Intentions have been twisted. And now, the Holy Spirit sounds the alarm. Within 72 hours of August 24th, a line will be crossed. A confrontation will be staged. But you must be ready, not with retaliation, but with restraint. This next moment is not meant to provoke you into reaction. It is designed to frame you, to bait you into becoming the villain in someone else's false narrative. Do not fall for it. Watch for shifting alliances in your circle. Those who once seemed neutral may now begin to lean in strange directions, trading discretion for access, loyalty for information. Some will come under the guise of concern, asking questions that scratch too deep. Others may act distant, but feed the drama in unseen ways. You'll feel it in your spirit before you ever see it with your eyes. This, too, is strategy. Not from heaven, but from the camp of the adversary. The signs will not come all at once. They'll arrive in fragments. A screenshot that doesn't add up. A conversation that loops strangely. A delayed reply that arrives at the wrong time. Something will feel off. Reheated words. Mistranslated intentions. And most telling, an attempt to clear the air that only clouds your name. This is a trap. A confrontation is being designed, not to bring peace, but to extract a reaction. And once you react, they'll have their story. Heaven warns you now, do not explain yourself. Do not rush to correct what God has already decided to reverse. You will not receive the full truth yet, because you are not meant to act on partial understanding. The Father will reveal just enough to guide your response, not your emotion, not your habit, not your fear, but your obedience. There will be pressure, emotional heat, the gnawing urge to speak up, to respond, to fix the misunderstanding. But hear me, beloved, this is not your courtroom. This is not your trial. This is not your moment to speak. You are being hidden under the wings of the Almighty while the storm is being staged. If you come out now, you step into a snare. But if you stay under cover, the Lord will collapse the plot without your participation. Expect a bait moment, a passive-aggressive message, a question crafted to wound, a compliment laced with venom. The moment will seem casual, but your soul will shudder. Don't respond. Pivot to prayer. Let your stillness speak volumes. The enemy is not looking for your wisdom. He is looking for your reaction. And when he doesn't get it, he loses his strategy. If you are suddenly pushed to decide something quickly, slow down. Urgency is the adversary's favorite disguise. Heaven works through peace and timing, not panic and pressure. If the voice rush in you does not carry peace, it does not carry divine permission. This hour requires spiritual posture, not as a victim, not as a warrior shouting in chaos, but as a watcher seated in discernment. You fight this battle with low voice, lifted guard, and a listening heart. You may be tempted to warn the person under attack, to confront the one creating confusion, to restore what feels out of balance. But this is not that time. The confrontation is not for you to initiate. It's being orchestrated by heaven. Let God be your defender. Let Michael go ahead of you. Let the angels document every lie and weigh every motive. This is not your fall. It's their final exposure. But only if you remain in position. In the next 72 hours, watch. Watch for misquotes. Watch for strange delays. Watch for tension that seems to spike from nowhere. Do not label it too quickly. Do not draw swords too soon. The adversary is trying to preempt your breakthrough by manufacturing confusion. But God is always 5 moves ahead. Your assignment: stay low, stay quiet, stay clean. Let the enemy build the trap, and watch how heaven lets them fall into their own net. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 9111 is now active over your atmosphere, shielding your next 72 hours. Now is not the time to panic. Now is the time to position yourself under divine protocol. The unfolding chaos is not meant to draw you into the noise. It is meant to teach you how to stand in supernatural stillness. Not passive, not afraid, but spiritually alert. The heavens are shifting, the battle is intensifying, and your ability to hear clearly depends on your willingness to withdraw from the chatter and anchor yourself in divine rhythm. When the enemy can't provoke your voice, he will attempt to pollute your focus. He'll stir the group chats, increase the noise, distract your scroll, and bait your mind into fruitless replays of the same spiritual irritation. But the Spirit of God is calling you higher. He's calling you to step out of the fog and into formation. This is not emotional discipline. It is spiritual alignment. The enemy thrives in your reaction, but heaven moves through your rhythm. So take these next hours seriously. You are being called to establish a new order. Withdraw. Listen. Note. That means fewer calls. Step back from non-essential connections. Pause the constant explaining, the oversharing, the retelling of who said what and how it fell. You don't need more opinions. You need more divine impressions. You are in the middle of a spiritual download, and heaven is requesting a clean channel. Withdraw means stepping out, not from love, but from leakage. Love doesn't require constant access. And right now, access is being used as surveillance by those who do not carry your heart. The adversary cannot possess what he cannot perceive. When you step back, you become invisible to the confusion. And when you're invisible to confusion, you become visible to clarity. Then you listen, not to your fears, not to every notification, but to the still, small voice that keeps tugging your attention inward. 10 minutes of silence. Eyes closed. Breathing steady. Whisper this: Michael, mark what matters. Spirit of God, highlight what is holy. What rises? A name, a scene, a specific word or symbol. That's your revelation. That's your briefing. God is personal. He does not send generic alerts. He sends targeted instructions. Then you know. Write it down. Every time. The name. The time. The phrase. The image. The repeating color. The sensation that doesn't fade. Your journal becomes your map. And that map will later become your confirmation that God had you 10 steps ahead of the attack. You are not being told to isolate. You are being told to consecrate, to fast from reactivity, to guard your energy. No more long defensive paragraphs. No more reacting to baited comments. No more clarifying your purity to people who were never assigned to understand your positioning. You only respond when heaven tells you. And when heaven is silent, you remain silent. Wrap yourself in protective affirmations. These are not cute phrases, they are spiritual shields. Speak them out loud when the pressure tries to breach your calm. I am covered. I am guided. I am guarded. My circle is purified by light. I walk in divine instruction, and heaven fights for me. These are not just affirmations. They are declarations that mark your territory in the realm of the Spirit. And most importantly, bless the one who is under spiritual attack. Yes, even if they are acting strangely. Even if they become distant. Even if they seem influenced. Bless them without naming the attacker, because heaven knows the details. When you bless the wounded, even before they recognize their wound, you activate divine rescue missions on their behalf. Your sleep, too, must become sacred. Put your phone in another room. Let your rest become warfare. For while you sleep, heaven speaks. Dreams will return with clarity. Messages will come with repetition. The downloads will begin once the noise ceases. Ask God to show you what the daytime confusion tried to hide. Anoint the thresholds in your life. Your bedroom door. Your desk. Your vehicle. Your hands. Not out of superstition, but as prophetic symbolism. You are setting apart your movements, declaring that every place your foot steps, peace will reign. That every entryway into your life must now pass through the filter of discernment. And if a meeting becomes necessary in these hours, whether planned or sudden, ask for an earlier time. Choose neutral ground. Decline nighttime tension. Darkness prefers late hours. But you, child of the light, walk in wisdom. You are not alone. Michael is stationed at your side. Heaven is watching your obedience like a seed about to bloom. Your stillness is not empty, it is strategic. The quieter you become, the clearer you will hear. And the clearer you hear, the more powerfully you'll act when the moment is right. Type "I am still under covering" in the comments to seal your obedience. Blessing code 1221 is surrounding your thresholds and sharpening your hearing. There comes a moment, silent, invisible, and irreversible, when the old version of you is no longer available. That moment has arrived. Heaven is marking it, and the evidence of it will soon startle those who assumed you hadn't changed. The tension you've been experiencing, the friction, the sense of watching your own life unfold from a higher place, is not disconnection, it's transformation. You are not who they think you are anymore. You've outgrown the place where they last misread you. The you they're responding to doesn't even exist anymore. This isn't arrogance. This is awareness. Spiritual warfare has forged something in you that comfort never could. Every tear you prayed through, every conversation you held back from, every moment you chose wisdom over reaction, it didn't just protect your peace, it reshaped your spirit. You're no longer reacting like you used to. You're no longer searching for validation from people who never carried the grace to understand your call. You have shifted. And now, so must your posture. They thought you would break. They expected a loud reaction, an emotional unraveling, a desperate attempt to be seen or heard. But instead, you've learned the art of divine restraint. You've learned how to be strategic, how to stay steady, how to watch while others waste their energy. You've learned that silence is not weakness, but precision. That retreat is not surrender, but recalibration. And now, your stillness speaks louder than their chaos. Your spirit has wings. You no longer wrestle in the mud with small-minded accusations or emotionally engineered traps. You rise. You elevate. You see from above. And because you're no longer entangled, you no longer need to explain. God has untethered you from the patterns that once pulled you into reactive spirals. You're free, not because they stopped, but because you stopped responding. The fire you walked through, it didn't consume you. It refined your voice, strengthened your discernment, focused your sight. You now know how to pray with precision, how to speak with weight, how to see behind smiles. That wasn't trauma. That was training. And now, your presence carries authority. Your hidden growth has become your shield. Where you once reacted impulsively, you now respond prophetically. Your patience has become armor. Your boundaries are now borders divinely guarded. You no longer entertain what exhausts you. You no longer pursue what dishonors you. You've been reintroduced to yourself, and that version of you walks with fire in their eyes and peace in their steps. You are now speaking elevation language. You say things like, I move by instruction, not irritation. You declare, I answer to heaven's timing, not human pressure. You've graduated from the emotional playground. Your responses are not petty, they're prophetic. Your silence isn't indifference, it's intelligence. What used to trigger you now teaches you. Every offense is now an observation. Every interruption is now a signal. You're harvesting wisdom where others are gathering gossip. You carry a quiet authority now, an unsettling calm that exposes manipulation without confrontation. You've learned how to let heaven speak for you. You've learned how to pause and let angels handle what your mouth once tried to manage. You've learned that victory isn't always visible, it's often spiritual. This isn't about pretending you're unaffected. This is about realizing you're no longer attached. The person they tried to frame no longer exists. You've been upgraded in the spirit, and the world is just catching up. You walk differently because you see differently. You no longer rehearse your wounds. You recite your wisdom. And now, with each step, you carry the air of someone sent, not driven, not desperate, but divinely dispatched. You are not passive. You are permissioned. You've been cleared by heaven to move forward without the weight of false expectations and emotional traps. So stand tall, not in pride, but in prophecy. Speak only when the Spirit speaks through you. Move only when peace leads you. You are not the same, and you will not go back. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them wonder. You have nothing to prove. You are aligned. You are assigned. You are anointed for the next move. Type "I have risen" in the comments if you feel this elevation. Blessing code 1010 is now wrapping you in divine authority. Heaven has not been silent. Heaven has not been still. Every moment of unrest you've experienced, every whisper in your sleep, every moment your spirit winced without reason, it was not random. It was revelation stirring before it surfaced. And now, after August 24th, the veil is lifting. What has been concealed is being uncovered. What has been distorted is being made clear. What has been attacked in secret is being restored in public. This is not just a new season, it's a divine realignment. A reordering of proximity. God is reassigning seats around your purpose. That's the part they didn't see coming. This wasn't merely about exposing wrong intentions. It was about redefining who gets access to your assignment. There are people who once sat close, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, who are no longer permitted in the next chapter. And it's not because you stopped loving. It's because God started elevating. And with elevation comes examination. Not everyone can pass the inspection the closeness requires. The one under attack, the one who suddenly feels distant, confused, withdrawn, is more than a distraction. They are a connector. They carry a link to your future, your purpose, your unfolding breakthrough. That is why the warfare intensifies. Not to destroy them, but to dismantle the unity that was once forming around destiny. The enemy always strikes what threatens his grit. So if there's been an unusual pressure on that relationship, that connection, that dynamic, it's because something holy is at stake. This pressure was never about punishment. It was a test. A divine X-ray, scanning motives, revealing weak points, and separating what's sacred from what's seasonal. The trial you're walking through is not breaking you. It's proving what stays and what must go. You are being shown who is truly aligned, not with your personality, but with your purpose. And in that revelation, the pain of disconnection becomes the clarity of redirection. The Spirit of God now speaks. What feels like loss is not subtraction, it is curation. God is not taking from you. He is editing your circle for maximum reach and eternal safety. He's removing what was once useful, but is now a liability. He's trimming the vine, not to punish the branches, but to ensure the harvest survives the next storm. What he prunes today will protect you tomorrow. Here is the prophetic shift. New doors of favor are about to open, not because you demanded them, but because you discerned your way through darkness. You refused to descend into drama. You chose wisdom over war. You stayed when it hurt. You watched when it confused you. You held your tongue when it trembled. And heaven recorded it all. Your name has been written in the scrolls of restraint. Not for the world to applaud, but for heaven to reward. You didn't chase validation. You didn't return insult for insult. You didn't post what your emotions wrote. You sat in the furnace and let it refine you. And now, you emerge with promotion and clarity. You will begin to see motives like colors. Conversations will carry visible weight. The fog of confusion will lift so dramatically that what once felt like a maze will now feel like a map. You will be able to look into someone's tone, someone's pattern, someone's posture, and see what's driving them. This is not suspicion. This is sacred sight. Heaven is trusting you with discernment that disrupts deception. And watch, after August 24th, the sign will come. A timely invitation, a call, a message, an open door that aligns so perfectly with what you've been waiting for. It will feel almost surreal. But it will not be random. It will be reward. A holy gift delivered at the intersection of obedience and timing. You're not late. You're not lost. You're right on schedule with heaven's blueprint. And everything you've endured has been preparing the runway for your next launch. The storm was the separation. The silence was the sifting. But now, the shift is beginning, and you are rising with it. Type "I receive this realignment" in the comments if you feel the lifting. Blessing Node 1144 is now opening the gate of discernment over your path. You've just received prophetic revelation that could reroute someone's life, realign someone's purpose, and rescue someone under spiritual attack. If this word is stirring you, you have been chosen not just to hear, but to help carry the message forward. This isn't about supporting a channel. This is about advancing the kingdom. You're giving a spiritual warfare. Every act of generosity is a seed of light in a world overrun by noise. As you sow, remember this: the generous will prosper, and those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This isn't just a proverb. It's a prophetic contract from God Himself. If you've been blessed, become a monthly member, drop a super thanks, or sow through the PayPal link in the video description. As you do, I declare, doors will open that no man can shut. Discernment will rise where confusion once ruled, and clarity will find your house. Support this mission. Sow into the message. Let your generosity echo through eternity. You've passed the test. You sat in silence while storms swirl. You've restrained your tongue while falsehoods floated. You've watched trusted circles bend under pressure, yet you stayed in position. And now heaven is ready to respond, not with comfort alone, but with command. This next phase isn't emotional. It's prophetic. This isn't just about surviving spiritual warfare. This is about activating destiny with deliberate, strategic movement. Heaven is not waiting on your perfection. It's waiting on your participation. God is not asking you to have every detail sorted. He's asking for your alignment. Because when a vessel aligns, favor flows. When obedience meets divine timing, assignments get unlocked. And child of God, the resistance you've endured wasn't to destroy you. It was to reveal what's been lying dormant. It's time to wake it up. Declare it now. Even if your voice trembles, I am aligned with heaven's order. Confusion has no audience in me. Let the spirit realm hear it. Let every monitoring force that once fed on your indecision know. They are now cut off from access. No more swirling thoughts. No more second guessing your value. No more wandering around closed doors hoping for validation. You are stepping into a season where your yes will open gates, your clarity will silence chaos, and your faith will structure your future. Now is the moment to act, not wildly, but wisely. Measured steps. Faith-born steps. Holy Spirit-led instructions that form a blueprint only you can carry. You've been briefed in the shadows, and now you are being released into the light. The whisper you heard weeks ago, the idea you dismissed last month, the longing that keeps resurfacing in quiet moments, that was not fantasy. That was divine initiation. God planted the seed. Now water it with action. Start small, but start strong. Clean your digital spaces. Archive what no longer holds relevance. Remove access from those who have forfeited trust. Reset your rhythms. Purge what pollutes your focus. This is not just self-care. It's spiritual stewardship. You are clearing the way for favor to flow without interruption. If something repeatedly drains your discernment, it is not innocent. It is a threat to your momentum. And now, move with purpose. Schedule solitude, not to escape, but to receive. You need space to hear, quiet to sense, stillness to recalibrate. Block off an hour. Let heaven speak. Take a pen. Take the scripture. Take your history. And outline your next 3 faith-driven steps. Not for approval, but for assignment. What is God pressing you to do? Who is He positioning you to become? Where is He asking you to go next? The enemy tried to fracture your faith by attacking someone close. But what he didn't count on was this. Instead of breaking, you broke open. And now, you are seeing clearly. And from this place of clarity, you must speak life, especially over the one who's been under fire. Call their name in prayer. Declare identity. Speak clarity. Release courage and community around them. You don't need to fix them. You just need to sow the seed. Say it out loud. Heaven waits for my yes. And now, offer it. Yes to peace. Yes to wisdom. Yes to timing. Yes to boundaries. Yes to the next chapter, even if it requires you to walk alone for a moment. You are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into what's already been written. Replace the fear rehearsals with faith rehearsals. No more imagining worst-case scenarios. Start visualizing light-drenched outcomes. Start declaring what it will look like when favor lands, when connection is restored, when purpose is awakened. Let your imagination become holy ground. Let your mind host miracles before your hands hold them. And before you confront, before you defend, before you seek to be understood, sow a quiet act of kindness where the enemy expected retaliation. Send a silent blessing. Release a silent prayer. Let your spirit remain untouchable. This is how you rise. This is how you reign. You've been summoned, not spared. You've been trained, not tortured. And now, with angels watching and heaven backing your every step, it's time to activate destiny. Type "My destiny is unlocked" in the comments if this moment is your confirmation. Blessing code 1717 is now igniting the path beneath your feet. There is a hush taking place in the spirit. A divine quiet. Not absence, activity. Not emptiness, exchange. And you, whether you realize it fully or not, have been pulled into a sacred transaction, a spiritual exchange, so holy, so strategic, that not even your enemies are aware it's already in motion. The silence you've maintained, the stillness you've chosen, the obedience you've held onto when it would have been easier to lash out, those things have triggered a response in the courts of heaven. The tables are turning, not in chaos, but in calm. Behind your silence, a divine negotiation is unfolding. What was siphoned from you, peace, clarity, favor, emotional energy, relational alignment, is now being traced, accounted for, and returned. And not just in equal measure. Heaven doesn't reimburse. Heaven restores with interest. While others may still be talking, scheming, speculating, God is working. While they stir confusion, while they try to manipulate narratives and play on partial truths, Heaven is aligning verdicts that cannot be overruled. You may have cried in silence. You may have felt the ache of betrayal in a room full of people who didn't even see it. You may have endured sleepless nights, spiritual fatigue, unanswered questions, and emotional withdrawal from those you held close. But hear this clearly. Your pain did not go unnoticed. The moment you chose peace over panic, restraint over revenge, discernment over drama, the angels began to move. Access rights are being rewritten. Someone took what wasn't theirs, not a possession, but a place. A place in your heart. A place in your mind. A place of trust. And God saw it. They thought because it wasn't loud, it wasn't recorded. But the Spirit says, even whispers are weighed. Even glances. Even intentions. Even manipulations dressed up as concern. None of it escaped divine record. And now, a spiritual recalibration is underway. While you rest, heaven is in courtroom motion. Angels are negotiating on your behalf. Not because you asked for vengeance, but because you stayed clean. While you resisted the need to make it make sense, while you let go of the urge to justify yourself, heaven began to close unauthorized doors. Access that once seemed innocent is now being revoked. Entry points once used by confusion are being sealed. Old connections are losing spiritual clearance. Not by your hand, but by divine intervention. And more than that, new pathways are opening. Paths that were previously blocked, doors that wouldn't budge, opportunities that felt distant, they're now being reopened. Not randomly, but righteously. Your obedience has activated a shift, and God will now correct what once delayed you. The timelines you thought were ruined. The plans you assumed were missed. Watch as heaven realigns what the enemy tried to detour. Even your dreams are changing. The restlessness you felt was not disorder. It was a pre-notification. Your spirit has known longer than your mind could articulate. That's why peace felt foreign in rooms you used to love. That's why the faces around you felt different, even when nothing had been said. Your spirit was already being briefed. And now that briefing is becoming confirmation. The Holy Spirit says this: nothing is lost. It is being transferred back, not recycled, redeemed. Your clarity, your confidence, your rightful peace, even your credibility. God is placing it all back into your hands, but cleaner, stronger, sharper. This isn't just a return. This is a reclamation, and it's happening in silence. This is the beauty of still obedience. You didn't see it, but heaven saw you. You didn't defend yourself, but heaven defended you. You didn't strive, but now you'll soar. The exchange is complete when you let go of the need to witness the apology. Some won't say it. Some won't return. But that's not your concern. Your restoration is not dependent on their remorse. So sleep tonight with confidence. Rest without apology. As your body lays down, your spirit is being seated in places of higher authority. Angels have been dispatched. The ledger has been opened, and the enemy has already been overruled. Type "the exchange is mine" in the comments if you feel this silent reclaiming. Blessing Code 1818 is releasing divine restoration into your timeline. Justice is not an abstract hope in the kingdom. It is a living decree, and it has already been signed concerning you. What was plotted against you in whispers is now echoing back toward its origin. What was sown in manipulation is returning as exposure. And what was set up to fracture your peace is unraveling by divine order. The judge of all creation has rendered his verdict, not based on noise, not based on emotion, but on truth. Spiritual justice is not delayed, it is precision-timed, and now the reversal has begun. While they moved in secrecy, thinking their alliance was undetected, heaven watched. While they inserted confusion into conversations and sowed tension into closeness, heaven recorded. While they performed sincerity and weaponized concern, subtly positioning themselves to be your interpreter, heaven weighed their motives. And now, the scales are tilting. Not in anger, not in chaos, but in righteous reversal. This is not the wrath of man. This is the response of God to someone he calls his own. Every false narrative formed about you is now collapsing under the weight of its own inconsistencies. What was said to harm your credibility will now serve as evidence of your integrity. You didn't have to fight it. You didn't have to explain yourself in every room your name entered. You stayed grounded. You stayed silent. You stayed submitted to the instruction, and heaven has now turned your silence into testimony. You will begin to see signs of this reversal. Unexpected apologies. Invitations that once vanished now reappearing. People who once ignored the situation will start asking subtle questions, sensing something deeper was at play. Even those who believed the distortion will feel the heaviness of truth settling in their spirit. They won't know how to say it, but they will begin to act differently toward you. Not because you demanded their attention, but because heaven shifted their perception. The one who was under spiritual attack, a loved one who began to distance, who became confused, who seemed out of character, is going to feel it too. Clarity will start returning like pieces of a puzzle. Their vision will sharpen. Their heart will soften. And the fog that once clouded their discernment will be lifted, not by your words, but by divine interruption. Restoration is coming, not just of relationship, but of soundness. The influence that once crept in and twisted their alignment is being cut off. God is dealing with the source, not just the symptoms. The spaces that became hostile, the atmospheres that shifted without explanation, are also being reordered. Favor is returning to your environment. Honesty is returning to your circle. Peace is returning to your mind. And none of it required you to become bitter, reactive, or small. This is the beauty of spiritual justice. It works without performance. And don't be surprised when new alignments emerge from the ashes. People you never expected will start honoring your name. Doors will open that bypass the systems that previously blocked you. You are entering a season of unmanipulated favor, not favors built on alliances, not doors opened by compromise, but open gates that no human can shut because heaven itself authorized them. Let those who return, return. Welcome them without bondage. Let those who resist, walk. Release them without bitterness. Your role is not to punish. It is to preserve the purity of your next level. What God is doing now requires a clean heart and open hands. Do not cling to what was never meant to stay. Let God handle the weight of justice while you carry the light of discernment. The story is not ending in confusion. It's ending in vindication. And it will be marked not by your defense, but by your steadiness. Steady eyes, steady voice, steady steps. This is what spiritual justice looks like. God handling what you surrendered. Not on your timeline, but with a timing so precise that even your enemies will say, surely God was with them. You don't need revenge. You don't need exposure. You already have reversal. Type the verdict is justice in the comments if you feel this shift in your atmosphere. Blessing code 1331 is surrounding your name with heavenly favor and divine compensation. August 24th was not an ordinary day. It was a divine hinge. A turning point in the spirit realm where exposure, protection, and realignment all collided in one holy moment. You didn't just receive a message. You stepped into a spiritual timestamp. And now, as this prophetic revelation concludes, heaven places a seal over your heart and a charge upon your spirit. You are covered. You are commissioned. You are kept. Everything you've witnessed, every hidden attack, every emotional shift, every odd delay and divine pause was not random. It was the evidence of the unseen, the movements of an enemy who thought he was undetected, and a God who had already scheduled his defeat. You were never alone. You were never uncovered. You were never unguarded. Michael went before you. Heaven backed you. The Spirit trained you. Now, this is your final charge. Walk forward, but walk in silence. Watch, don't react. Pray, don't panic. Record, don't rehearse fear. Let the Spirit be your confirmation, not your emotion. Let the stillness be your strategy, not your silence of defeat, but your posture of discernment. What comes next will require you to move with both clarity and confidence, not because everything has been explained, but because everything has been revealed in spirit. Every missed call, every restless night, every strange glitch, every sudden disconnect. It all made sense now in light of what heaven has uncovered. The loved one who was under hidden spiritual attack. Their deliverance is now underway. The plot designed to entrap your name, it's already collapsed in silence. The authority you carried unknowingly, it has been affirmed and upgraded in full view of the spirit realm. So receive now your blessing of closure and commissioning. May light surround your mind. May peace guard every threshold of your dwelling. May truth govern your circle, purifying every bond. May discernment sharpen your hearing, and wisdom govern your steps. May the voice of God echo louder than the voice of your feelings. And may the angels assigned to you war in your silence and rest in your calm. Let it be declared over you now. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Speak this now. I move in silence. I stand in clarity. I act in perfect timing. And as you walk away from this message, know this. The unveiling has already begun, and you are kept. You're not the same person who pressed play. Something in your spirit has shifted. A veil has been torn. A new authority now rests on your shoulders. This was not just a video. This was a visitation. And now, heaven watches as you carry what you've received into the hours and days to come. Go now, not loudly, but confidently. Heaven has cleared the path. Your only task is to walk it. Type I am kept by heaven in the comments if you receive this final charge. Blessing code 2020 is now sealing your circle and commissioning your calling. If this prophetic briefing has opened your eyes, restored your peace, or ignited clarity in your spirit, then heaven just confirmed your assignment. You are not just watching, you are being activated. And now is your moment to rise and support the mission that delivered this word into your hands. Every offering you sow through YouTube membership, Super Thanks, or the PayPal link in the description becomes a spiritual partnership, a divine investment into the saving of lives, the unveiling of schemes, and the awakening of the chosen. This isn't a donation. It's a declaration. You're saying, I will not let truth be silenced. I will not let this light go dim. As you give, heaven records it. Favor is release. Protection is multiplying. Breakthroughs are accelerated. I decree it over every giver. You will reap what you've just helped release. Support this mission. Stand with the word. Let your seed go where your feet cannot.